Friendship from War, written by Lieutenant General Vijay Oberoi. It was the time of war as it is today, but exactly 60 years back. It was the 1965 India Pakistan War. The common notion is that it was fought for 22 days in September, but in actuality, the war initiated by Pakistan was fought in three parts, all interlinked. There was no casus belli for that war, as it was contrived by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, then the foreign minister of Pakistan, and a few generals of the Pakistan army who persuaded a reluctant President Ayub Khan to approve their plans. The Pakistani plan was to commence operations in a less important area like Kutch with a view to gauge whether India was capable of a fight, as the war with China in 1962 had badly affected the Indian army. There was also famine in many parts of the country. The then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri had taken over recently after the death of Pandit Nehru, and in the eyes of the Pakistanis, his diminutive figure did not reflect the boldness of a fighting leader. How utterly wrong they were. Depending on the outcome of the Kutch operations, Part 2 consisted of sending infiltrators inside J&K from several directions, as it was assessed that the locals will rise against India. This was to be carried out in August. Finally, an all out offensive, codenamed Operation Gibraltar, would be launched within J&K to cut off Rajouri Poonch. It is this part which is known as the 1965 war by the public. As far as the armed forces and the government of India are concerned, all three parts constituted the 1965 war, the diamond jubilee of which is this year. Let me now switch to my special friend Dhirendranath Singh. We both had left behind a leg each on the battlefield before we met at the command hospital Pune. I had reached there first. I belonged to the 1st Battalion of the Maratha Light Infantry, while DN was a company commander in the equally famous 3 Kumaon Rifles. We were in Pune as all limb cases were sent there. The artificial limb center was adjoining the command hospital. Dhirendranath Singh was a very brave officer who had been awarded the coveted Veer Chakra for leading the assault on the important feature Keri in Jammu and Kashmir, where he had lost his left leg. He was a Kaushik Rajput, but now his battle was in fighting a disability as it was for us all. At Pune, we were confined to our beds, but soon the time came, as our wounds healed, that we had to walk with the help of crutches. But first, we had to buy slippers. That simple errand sealed our friendship, as in the Bata shop, we realized that we needed not a pair of slippers each, but only one for the time being. Glances exchanged confirmed that our foot sizes were same, and since our amputated legs were different, DN's being left and mine being right, our need was for only one pair. In a soldier's career, the watershed events are when one gets shot in battle fighting for the country. We came to the conclusion that getting the disability was that event for us. DN agreed with me. Later developments confirmed it, but surprisingly not in a negative way. Those were the days of introspection, interspersed with exchanging notes with our comrades. We were undoubtedly quite a sight, locomoting and balancing ourselves on lightweight elbow crutches, but we learned to juggle crutches and, of course, the good or undamaged leg. These were also the days of happy go lucky exterior, cracking jokes about the one legged Taimur Lang, but with an interior that was all knotted up, constantly weighing various permutations for our future. Dian was already married, and it was a special event when his wife Vijaya came down from Lucknow. She soon became my would be wife Daulat's close friend. By then, Dian and I were spending many hours at Daulat's house at the invitation of her mother, Mrs. Survey, the highly respected wife of the late Major General Survey of my battalion. We had three options ahead of us after receiving our prosthesis: go home on medical grounds, request for a change of regiment or corps for a softer job, or remain in present regiment or unit, but with the proviso that you have to compete with your peers and no allowance will be given for your disability. I had already made up my mind that I would carry on soldiering and would do everything better than any of my peers. However, Dian agonized about his choice. Firstly, he was a little older than me, and secondly, he was a postgraduate and thus fully qualified to join the Army Education Corps, which he eventually did, but not for long. As a die-hard infantryman, he is not comfortable in sedentary teaching assignments. Thereafter, he tried his hand in various fields, including politics, but although he had said goodbye to the army, it continued to be his focus. His two sons not only joined the army but also their father's Kumaon regiment, and much later his grandson followed suit, thus keeping the family flag high. Dian is no more. He joined the Valhalla Warriors 2 months back, leaving Vijaya to bask in the glory of their two sons, BPS and SP, both three-star generals holding top appointments, and a grandson who plans to follow them. Thank you very much. There was no casus belli for that war. CAUSESBELLI. Casus belli means an act or situation that provokes or justifies a war. As it was contrived by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, then the foreign minister of Pakistan, and a few generals. CONTRAVG, contrive means to plan something in a clever and dishonest way. We had three options ahead of us after receiving our prosthesis. PROSTHESIS, prosthesis means an artificial body part such as a leg or arm. As a die-hard infantryman is not comfortable in sedentary teaching assignment. sedentary sedentary means involving a lot of sitting down, not active. Thank you very much.